Hey, welcome World Entertainment, and A Quiet Place Part 3 is officially a go. Not just have they announced that it's actually happening, but we have a release date and the return of John Krasinski to both direct, write and produce this one. Wonder if he'll appear in any type of flashback this time around, which is saying something because we're not actually sure who the cast is. That hasn't been announced as of yet. But he himself did confirm that this is happening, and then Paramount follows suited and they announced it. So let's have a look at this. So it's saying Paramount has confirmed that A Quiet Place Part 3 is officially on the way, with A Quiet Place director John Krasinski returning to direct, write and produce. The film is set to hit theaters July 9th, 2027. Krasinski made the announcement himself via Instagram on Friday, confirming his full return to the franchise. There's no word yet on the cast or plot, with Paramount keeping details under wraps for now. So we do have quite a long time to wait for this thing, 2 years at this stage. So yeah, it gives them time, I guess, to work out exactly the story and lock in deals and stuff like that, so that's fine. So this marks the fourth installment in the Quiet Place series, which began in 2018 with the original film starring Krasinski, his wife Emily Blunt, Millicent, is it Millicent or Millicent Simmons, and Noah Jupe. It's either Jupe or Dupe, I think it's Jupe. That first film was a breakout hit, opening with 50 million and eventually pulling in 341 million worldwide. A Quiet Place Part 2 launched in May 2021 and brought in 297 million globally. A prequel spin-off, A Quiet Place Day 1, directed by Michael Skarnowski, I think, and starred Lupita Nyong'o, I can never pronounce her second name, and Joseph Quinn, debuted in 2024 and grossed 296 million. Combined, the franchise has earned over 900 million worldwide and received, I love this part, Oscar and BAFTA nominations for sound design along the way. What sound design? There's basically no speaking in these movies, which I just think that's hilarious. Sound design for a movie that basically has no sound in it. Now, before I go on with this, the one thing that I think it should be looked at as a little concerning for Paramount is the fact that the return for each movie has been going down. So while the first one started off strong, over 300 million, the second one then dropped below that, only just, but then it dropped again for Quiet Place Day 1. I don't know what the budgets are on those movies. I don't think they're super high, so that is a benefit to these ones. And if they could keep those budgets down low, yeah. But the diminishing returns, the law of diminishing returns would indicate that Part 3 would perform worse than Day 1 did at 262 million. So you would assume then, if it stays on track the way they've been going, that Part 3 would probably end up earning about 220, maybe 230, in around that region. But anyway, this says Krasinski first hinted at A Quiet Place Part 3 in 2022, originally targeting a 2025 release. That version stalled, and in the meantime, Krasinski directed If for Paramount. If, is that the thing that bombed with, Ryan Reynolds? I think. I don't know what the hell that one is. Or is it the one with the dude who plays Shazam? Can't remember. But it's saying now, with a locked-in 2027 date, the long-awaited third entry is officially back on track. The new movie will again be produced by Krasinski's Sunday Night Productions, with Alison Seeger alongside Platinum Dunes. Sunday Night has a first-look deal with Paramount. The Quiet Place films follows a family trying to survive in a world overrun by blind, noise-sensitive alien creatures that kill anything that makes a sound. Krasinski played the father in the first film and appeared in a flashback in the second. The future of the surviving characters and whether Blunt, Simmons or dupe return remains to be seen. And the one thing it seems to kind of ignore in this, and I think the door could be open as well, is the return as well you could do of Lupita's character from day one, because she survived. Spoiler, I suppose, for if you haven't seen it, but yeah, she survived. I like all of these movies. I do like them. The second one, the only issue I had going into the second one was, well, hang on, in the first one you figured out how to kill these things. Why would you leave and not keep doing what you're doing to kill them? But it made sense then in the end why they left. The only issue I had then with day one was because it was a prequel, they start introducing things that doesn't make sense then in the later movies, such as the helicopters flying around all the areas with giant speakers saying, hey, get on boats and stuff because these things can't swim. It's like, how did nobody know that in the first movie? You know, that's where prequels kind of start screwing things up. Yeah, but part 3, people have been waiting for part 3 for a while. I'm just very curious as to what will happen with the box office, being the fact that each movie, the profit has come in lower and lower and lower than the first movie. So again, by laws of diminishing returns, part 3, which would technically be the 4th overall movie in the franchise, but part 3 of the overall story, would have to come in probably lower again. So if the last one came in at 262, you would be looking at the next one coming in probably around 235, maybe a bit more, in around that. They could pull off something special and get it up high again, up in the 300s. But I would assume that this will probably be the last one. I don't think they will push for more after this one. I think this is simply to finish off and round out a trilogy. There's really no need to do it. The one thing they could do with more spin-offs is go to different countries. That's the thing with this, is you don't have to stick with America. You could go to other places. You could go to like Mexico or China, Japan, or anywhere really, London, anywhere. And I think, you know, depending what part 3 does box office wise, I would be surprised if Paramount, now under Skydance, wouldn't be looking into that, kind of saying, hey, you know, spin-offs, what direction could we go? What do we do? Be interesting. You know, it's an interesting movie, it's an interesting concept. I think as long as they don't start leaning too much into kind of, now Earth's fighting back and Earth have come up with a plan to go to the home world of these things or something like that. I think the mystery of where these things came from, we know they come from space, but where exactly and why, I think that's better left unanswered. So I hope they don't go down the road of just starting to answer all that questions, but we'll wait and see. I'm looking forward to seeing part 3. As I said, I've enjoyed all 3 of the movies that are out so far. You know, I was a little apprehensive about day 1 when I saw those trailers. It was kind of like the trailers were good. There was just stuff, and being a prequel, you're kind of going, I don't know whether this is going to work, but it did. So yeah, give me part 3. And with that, I shall leave it there for this one. Do let me know what you think of the overall Quiet Place franchise, and are you looking forward to part 3? Do let me know. Cheers, like, share, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one.